you get a chance to get it back.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get started here. First off, I want to thank everybody for being here today. It's a great day for Yellow Jacket football. You're going to hear us talk about some guys that we've got this great signing period. Coaches have done a tremendous job. We'll talk a little bit about that, but it's a great day, like I said, for Yellow Jacket football. Before I get started, I want to thank some people that are very instrumental in this process. Obviously, Dr. Sean Camp's in the back, very supportive of everything that we do as far as our program, as far as our athletics, and we always want to thank her for everything she does for our athletic programs. Obviously, Jet Hours, Jet's definitely a figurehead within our athletic department, but has been very good to our football program. Obviously, he's an alum, which always is a nice little thing to have in your pocket as a head football coach. But you know, he does such a great job throughout the athletic department, and really his support for me and those coaches and our players is just tremendous. The coaching staff, I can't say enough about what our coaching staff did and the way they recruited. And I've told numerous people, boosters, I've told everybody that I talked to, you know, when we brought these guys in, and Coach Steiner's been here, and then Coach Fulton and Coach Tatro and the rest of the guys, I told them we got great coaches. I knew that. I've seen them on the field. I've seen them doing the things that they do. But what I didn't know, and what I've learned is they are fearless and relentless recruiters. And you're going to see that in the guys that we got during this signing period. Our players did an outstanding job during their time as hosts, during their time of taking these guys around and really giving them a feel. Because here's the thing, when you go out and you recruit guys and you have all these things, you can't fake something. People see right through it. And everybody that I talk to and these guys talk to, what they said is, what we love about Black Hills State football is the family atmosphere. We love the things that it brings as far as the family, as far as all the things, and that was brought in by the guys. The time they spent with those guys in the dorms, down here talking for pizza on Sunday nights, they sold it. They did a phenomenal job. And the thing is, that's great because those are the guys they're going to spend the next 4 or 5 years with. They're going to see us occasionally, but they're going to spend locker room time and class time and live with those guys. And so I thought that was huge, and my hat's off to our players for what they did as far as helping us during this recruiting process. Obviously, our families, my family, my wife Jen's back there. I told her last night, I said, I bet you can't wait till this day is over. And you know, she gets very excited. She wants to know all our recruits, my kids do, and it's a very exciting time, not only for this family, but all of our extended families outside of football. There's a lot of individuals on this campus that made this day and this whole process, and we're going to continue on with it for the next couple of weeks, possible. You know, admissions, I see in the back, Laura, Beth, Joe, Megan, just to name a few people that, you know, we're in touch with Nick, we're doing things, talking to these kids. They're going to do some follow-up, are a very integral part of what we're trying to do here. Dr. Lois Flagstad, there were some things that she was able to do with getting our recruits meals through some grants, which was great for us to be able to bring those student athletes not just onto our campus, but to eat in our dining facility and have their parents in there. They walk out of there and they just can't believe it. And that's great, and I really appreciate what Lois did. Sarah and her entire staff over at Aviance are phenomenal. Very catered to our people. We had a section down below. They were really good to work with and did a great job of making sure those guys felt at home when they were here. Just a few people in the academic department. Of course, there was always some people that came over and talked, but a few in general. Dr. Priscilla Romkema, Charlie Lamb, Dr. Lamb, and the rest of the faculty that came over and visited did an outstanding job of tying in the football and the academic piece. And as us coaches talk about it, you know, and they know how important we feel about the academics, but they were able to tie that part in so well with Dr. Lamb did, and what Dr. Romkema did was really good, and the parents and the kids really bought into that. Chad Krukenberg. Chad comes over and obviously does some academic advising, came and visited when his schedule permitted, has been on the phone with some of these kids, does some things, and of course everybody in the Academic Success Service are very integral parts of what we're trying to do, and so we want to have them be associated with those kids from the very beginning, and so they understand what's there to make sure they're not just a successful football player, but a successful student. The entire athletic department Colleen, everybody that's in there, all the coaches, they would always walk by and see these guys and they'd introduce themselves and say, where are you from? And just a very, very welcoming environment within our athletic program. So to those guys, Jay Temple, Jay does a great job of making sure, he has the thankless job, the compliance guy. Make sure your forms are, make sure you're doing this. And working with us on a day-to-day basis of keeping us in line and really helping us get through this process. And it's been great to work with him. Tim Collins, Rob, Joe. Joe is a lifesaver. Joe's done a tremendous job of getting that website up, and anybody that's seen it, I already heard a couple people say they were on it. If you click on the top and it says image, you're going to see images. You can go to every image and you can click on there and get a bio. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get some YouTube highlights on there, but what a tremendous job he did of getting all that media coverage for us, and we really appreciate that. I know I'm forgetting somebody, but those are just a few that I wanted to mention that were very integral parts of what we're trying to do to continue with the success of our football program here. Let's talk about what we came here for, and that's this class. This staff did a tremendous job, an outstanding job of meeting the needs of what our football program wanted, needed, some areas that we felt we needed to target. But not only that, they got great kids. If you guys could have been on a conference call with every one of these kids today on the phone, it would have made the hair on the back of your neck stand up. The excitement that exuded through the phone was unbelievable to me. And it just makes you guys, us, feel so great as coaches to hear those guys, and you can feel them smiling. You can feel the excitement that they have. And so we know that these are not only great football players, but they're great kids. And great guys are going to be great kids as far as what they do, not only on our field out there on Saturday, but also in our community. And so what a great job this staff, and I'm going to reiterate over and over again, because these guys were relentless. And the way they called these guys and the way they pursued these guys and who we got, is one of the best classes we've ever had. We were able to get some local talent. We were able to identify some other areas where we were able to get talent from. I was able to go to Florida where my brother's at and identify some kids down there, which is hopefully going to be a good area for us. Coach Tatro had some contacts out in California. We had some contacts in other areas, and of course we went in and hit the local area, like I said, South Dakota, Wyoming, Colorado. Colorado and that Wyoming area has been really good to us with this RMAC. Being in the RMAC, those guys right there in the middle of the conference, and so they are very excited about having the opportunity to come up, go to Black Hills State, a first-class institution, and then their away games, they're right in their backyard. And so I think we did a great job of hitting the different areas. And Coach Fulton, if you get online, I think it's on Facebook, isn't it? He's got a map that shows where all our guys are from, and it's really cool how it just kind of shows all the different areas where we were able to pull them from. When you look at it, the different areas, we had South Dakota, we had 7, Colorado, we had 10, Wyoming, we had 6, California, we had 5, Florida, we had 2, Montana, we had 1, and Idaho, we had 1. So a good spread out as well as our areas. And with that, we're not done. We were on the phone today with kids who are kind of still making their mind up. Some are waiting on some financial aid packages. Some are visiting another school. Some just got done with wrestling or basketball or are still doing it, have not been able to visit. But we're definitely on the forefront of their mind. And so, of this 32 guys that we have right now, it's going to continue to build. But to have 32 guys today, to put that in perspective, last year on this day we had 12 seniors committed. And I think that tells you a lot about what these guys were able to do as far as coaches. I'm going to real quickly, I want to run down, I do want to talk about every one of these guys. I want to talk about them because they're going to be guys and names that you're going to hear in the future. First one, Christian Parr, and these are in no order. This is just how they came off the website. Christian Parr is a kicker from Forsyth, Montana. We knew we graduated kicker and a punter, so that's a need for us. Our kicking game needed to be addressed. I think we did that very well. Christian's a kid that's got an outstanding leg, comes from a good program. Luke Donovan actually watched some film on him, and Luke works with our kickers, and Luke was excited when he saw this kid, and I think that says a lot. Aaron Freeman, Aaron came to us from Idaho, Pocatello, Idaho, Century High School. There's some kids that came and visited here last year, really liked it, ended up not committing but going to other places, but had talked to this kid enough about what he saw here that he came and visited. Him and his mom drove out, had a great visit. We ended up getting him. He's a linebacker, 6'1", 235, kid that we loved on film, plays with the high motor, and a kid that, even though he's thrown out of area, he's going to come in and just bond right with our guys. Aaron Montoya, Aaron Montoya is an O-lineman from Denver, Colorado, Legacy High School, and they're getting 3 kids from that school. And Aaron's going to be a kid that is going to keep building upon our O-line tradition of what we're trying to do. Aaron Oberlander. Aaron's a local kid, a New Underwood kid, running back. You can never have enough running backs. We saw that this year. You think the stable's full, and all of a sudden you got 2 guys that get injured in preseason camp. So, we always want to make sure we get that local talent, and Aaron's a great kid from New Underwood that we're excited to have. Blaine Christensen. Blaine's a kid that we don't really have a position for him yet. He's one of those athletic kids that we're kind of fill as we get going and see where he fits in, see where our need areas are. We can get him. He's a kid from Green River, Neil Novak's cousin. Obviously, there was a great tie there. It was funny. I think Blaine was the one that you didn't even get an offer. Yeah, we were going out. And we came for a visit. Coach Snyder, we're going. Hey, we always meet after our visits, and we want to go through and say, hey, let's call this kid. Let's do this. And some of them we say, hey, let's give him a call on the road or talk to him. Before he could even call him, the kid calls up and commits. We didn't even offer him anything. He's like, Coach, I want to come there. And I think that says the kind of kid he is and the kind of the guys that we're bringing in. Bradley Adamson. Bradley Adamson is a wide receiver, 6'1", 180 from Merced High School in Merced, California. Both him and David Keys, we'll talk about, are 2 guys from out there. Coach really went out and has built a great relationship with those kids because it's not easy to recruit kids from out of the area. To tell a kid from California or Florida, hey, let's come up here to South Dakota. But they're excited, and it's going to be a great thing for us. They're outstanding students and kids that we're real excited, and they're very good football players as well. Brandon Carney. Brandon's another kid that's kind of an athletic kid. He comes to us from Mountain View High School in Colorado. He's a kid that's another athletic kid. We've got a ton of places we can put him. We'll find where that void area is. But he's another kid that's going to have an outstanding career here. Caleb Guarino. Okay, I'm going to misspell his name or mispronounce it 100 times. I even asked him today, and I think I still messed it up. But Caleb's a kid that comes to us from Arroyo High School in California. Came out on a visit, him and his parents. Absolutely loved it here. And he was probably the one guy I talked to on the phone, and I know Coach Tia too, that his excitement was exuberant. And to listen to those guys, especially an out-of-area kid like that, he was posting on Facebook when he committed, putting up Black Hill State banners and doing all kinds of stuff. I mean, he's a kid that just cannot wait to get out here on August 15th. Cameron Pond. Cameron Pond's a kid from right down the road at Douglas High School. Dan Machachok, my high school roommate. Obviously, he's been coaching down in Douglas for quite a while. He came very highly regarded from him. He's an undersized kid. He's going to have to get in the weight room. He's going to have to do some stuff. But what I heard from Coach Magic is this kid knows nothing but hard work. Okay? He holds 2 jobs. He lifts every day, and he goes to school, and that's all he does. And he loves football. We kind of got into him late. He was the first kid to send a thing in today. He couldn't wait to get his stuff in, and that's just how excited he was. I don't even know if the kid slept last night. Christian Severson. Christian comes from a very football-oriented family from Thermopolis, Wyoming. His dad actually coached high school football here. He's now the head coach of Thermopolis. They've been very successful. He's a linebacker, 6 foot 225. He's going to add a lot just from being a coach's kid, being around the game. He's going to know those things. David Keys. David's the other kid from Merced. Very athletic DB. A kid that's going to come in here. He's 6'3", 183 pounds. Very athletic, and we're very excited to see what David and the other guy that we have coming out there from there, Bradley. Dawson Steeds. Dawson's a kid from Riverton, Wyoming. Just a tough ranch farm kid. We're excited to bring him in here. He's going to come in. He's just going to bring in an attitude of work, and that's what he's going to bring. Very good, and just a kid that comes from a good program in Riverton. I know a couple of the coaches out there, and Coach went out there and recruited them, and we got a couple other kids that we're looking at, so we're real excited about having Dawson come in here. Akena Anya Gafu. He's a transfer that actually played at UND, then went back to a community college, San Francisco, the Community College of San Francisco, and he now, Coach got a hold of him, Coach Tatro. He's going to be a guy that can give us some immediate impact at that D-line spot, and that's an area where we lost Sterling Borman, and we lost some other guys that, we really lacking some depth. He's going to be a guy that's going to come in there. He's got some experience playing at a very high level, and we're very, very excited to have him be a part of it as well. Gunnar Adine. Gunnar's the other kicker. Gunnar is 6'2", 160, and when you look at our kickers, he's 6'2", 160. Christian Parr, 6'5", 180. we might have the biggest kickers around, and that's great. You know, but they got a lot of leg strength. Gunner's a kid. His dad was a kicker, and you know, he's only kicked for 1 year, and he's going to continue to get better and better. He had a 51-yard field goal this year, and he comes from a very successful program up there at Sheridan. And so, you know, another kid that's just going to come in and do great things for us. Isaac Byer. Isaac's an O-lineman, 6'3", 240-pound kid from Casper Kelly Walsh. Coach Vance, alum of here. He came up to camp with us. Loved it up here. His family came up, was able to look at the campus, came up on a visit. Isaac's going to be a kid that, once again, is going to be a worker. He's going to come in. He's just going to do the things that you want to do, and he's going to continually strive to be a better player. And so, you know, he's a guy that he's going to, and his attitude and everything that he brings is just going to be something we're going to love. Isaac Hernandez. Isaac's the D lineman from Parker, Colorado, Chaparral High School, 6'3", 280. He's a guy we love watching him on film. Did a great job of using his hands. Just a kid that just got after people when you watch him on film. Came up here, had a great visit. Very excited to have him. JT Harper. JT's a local kid, 6'2", 195 out of Newcastle. This kid's going to do some things. He's a leader. He's a leader. He's coming in as a safety. He played quarterback for him. He basically did everything for him. Everybody that I talked to, whether it was an official, whether it was a coach, said, "Coach, you got to get this kid. You got to get this kid." And we got him, and that's exciting. You know, Coach Snyder did a great job of making sure he was the one that went out and recruited him, and of course all the coaches with each one of their areas. Jacob Martinez. Jacob's a cornerback, 6'1", 185 from Littleton, Colorado, Chatfield High School. Another kid that's just going to give us some great depth at that DB position. Juwan Henry. Juwan's a kid from the Tampa area, actually Dade City, Pasco High School. Was one of the schools I visited down there. He's very excited to get up here. He's a kid that I know athletically he's going to be able to come in here and do some great things for us. You know, and he is a kid that's been calling me every day, wanting to know what does he need to do, what does he need to do. And you know, it's great to have those contacts down there. And you know, hopefully it starts a pipeline, because Pasco's got a great tradition of football down there, and we want to continue with bringing kids in. Jess Feist. Anybody that's familiar with football in this area knows about Jess Feist and knows about Harding County. He was the quarterback, led him to the state championship. He's a kid, and his name fits him because he's a feisty guy, and I love him, man. And you see him at camp, everything he does from playing basketball, he's 100%, and he's a guy that's going to come in and battle for some position in that safety spot. Caleb Frazier. Caleb's a wide receiver, once again, from down the road at Douglas High School. Very athletic kid, going to give us some depth at that wide receiver spot. You know, we're always, like I said, it's great to get those local kids and start getting some kids from the Air Force Base and whatnot. Cruz Robinson. Cruz is another guy, 6'4", 210. You know, play that linebacker, D-end area, you know, wherever we feel like he can come in from Harding County. Once again, brings a winning tradition in, brings an attitude in here. We know what Harding County kids doing, and we'll take as many of them as we can get. Fidel Parrish. Fidel's a running back, 5'10", 195, another one from Legacy High School. We just love the way that he ran the football. You know, he's going to be a guy that's going to continue that strong running back tradition, and we're going to be a team that wants to run the football, and we're very excited to have him be with us as well. RJ Fulton. RJ is another coach's kid, quarterback. Going to be a guy that comes in with a great football mind, great awareness of the game, and so he's going to add some things as we start looking at in the future of what we need to do at that quarterback position. Stephen Reed. Stephen comes to us from California, kind of a running back, slot receiver type, 5'7", 150. Don't let the size fool you. He's a pack of dynamite, okay? The kid can play. The kid is an outstanding individual, and you know, when he came out here on his visit, he was grinning from ear to ear the whole time. You know, he thought it was great. He thought the weather was beautiful. Even though he came from California, he loved every minute of it. We're very excited to have Stephen be a part of our program. Tate Gress, another old lineman from Buffalo, South Dakota, Harding County, 6'2", 260. You know, just continue with that tradition of Harding County kids. Like I said, we want to keep getting those guys. Tate's a tough kid that's going to come in here, like I said, battle, be a guy that's just going to get in the trenches, do what he needs to do to keep making himself a better football player. Terrell Martin. Terrell's a safety DB. He's a kid from my brother's school down in Ancol, Florida. Terrell came up on his visit with his dad. Had a great visit. He's an outstanding kid. He works with Special Olympics. He does all kinds of things behind the scenes. He's been a 4-year captain at a school that's only been in existence for 4 years. And you know, everybody that I talked to when I was down there, from his head coach, Coach Wiggs, to my brother, this was the kid they said you got to get. If you get him, you'll get more. And no doubt, when the coaches were up here and we were visiting with him, you could tell he's well beyond his years. Coach Norrie came in and introduced himself and said, are you a coach? And he goes, no, I'm a recruit. Are you a transfer? He goes, no, I'm a freshman. But he just has that persona. He really is beyond his years and does such a great job, and we're excited to have Terrell be a part of our program. There's Sauter. There's one of the first guys we really went after. There's a kid, Wiggins, Colorado, same place. We got another guy on our team, and Thayer was a guy that we knew looking at him. He's 6'2", 200. He played quarterback. They just put him wherever they wanted, and he made plays. We kind of had him projected as an athlete, possibly linebacker, somewhere in there. Once again, wherever he's going to get on the field fastest and help us out is where Thayer's going to be. But another great kid from Wiggins High School. Travis Baum. Travis is an athletic kid that's a wide receiver, also be a punter, a kicker. He's going to add a lot of depth in a lot of areas. He's another kid from Legacy High School, and so we're very, very excited about what he can do for us. Trey Fleming. Trey Fleming is probably one of our most athletic kids we got on our list. Trey comes to us from Silver Creek High School, state championship team. Has been around the program that's been very successful. What you see from this guy, if you could see his highlight film, is a playmaker. This guy knows how to go up and get a ball. He knows how to make plays. He punts. There's nothing really the kid can't do. And he's going to be a guy that come in and he's going to challenge for some things. And we're, what he can do on film, and see him be able to do it out here is going to be unprecedented. Wade Lockhart, another local kid. He's a linebacker. Is from Ulrichs, goes to Ulrichs High School, but they co-op with Hot Springs, end up going and playing at Hot Springs. Led Hot Springs, one of their leaders that led them to the semifinals this year. Wade's a big kid. He's 6'3", 220. We got him a linebacker. If he keeps eating and lifting, he might have his hand in the ground. We'll see. But no doubt, he's going to be a guy that's going to be a player for us. And once again, another great local kid. Zach Myers, a kid, a quarterback. Zach has some ties up here. His family has some friends up here in the area. He's from Alamosa, Colorado. He's a quarterback, 6'5", 205. And to get a kid out of Colorado, to get a kid out of another RMAC school's hometown, that's also great as well. So he's another kid that's going to come in and just keep getting honing his skills and finding a way to get himself on the field. That's kind of a wrap of the 32 guys. At this time, I take any questions you have, but it's an outstanding group of guys, and we're very, I think every coach, and I read it, somebody said, every coach says they're excited about the recruiting class. Well, they should be, and yeah, duh. I think we're ecstatic. This is not the start. This is the continuation of something really special here. And the things that we're doing, what the staff's doing, what this community is doing, what this university is doing, and in this conference, is going to be special. And these kids, I told every one of them today, I said, hey, now you can kind of let yourself go a little bit, take a deep breath, finish your school strong, because you're going to come in here and you're going to be part of something real special in the next few years. And I have no doubt, I have no problem saying. And we told every one of them, you follow the plan academically, you'll be fine. You don't, you probably won't be here. They know what's expected of them, both on the classroom, off the field, and they know what we need to do on the field to win games and to get ourselves to an RMAC championship. And this is the start. So, two more. Hey, two more faxes just came in. They're in?
Yeah,
it's official?
Yep.
All right, the Stubbs brothers. We got two brothers, Alan and Rico, come for us from Lake Elsinore, California. Joey Brown knows about him. Okay, this is where Joey's Brown, Drew Brown. You're going to hear about Drew. We've already heard about Joey. Unfortunately, we don't get to hear about Joey anymore. I got to make you put a coaching shirt on. But these are two buddies of Drew's, great kids. Rico's going to be an O-lineman, D-line. And then Alan's going to be he's another athlete kid. We could probably just take him right now and plop him wherever. Running back, receiver, DB. And that's the things that we needed to make sure we got. We needed to touch on some athleticism. Get guys that if you can look at a kid and say he can play multiple positions and be effective for you, you've got a good kid. And there's no doubt we've touched on some of that area with our guys. And so that brings our class up to 34. And like I said, excitement is probably the word of the day. But I'm telling you, this is special. It'll probably be another word that we can use, and it's going to be something we're gonna hang our hat on. And we're not done. We're going to keep getting after some guys, get some more guys to come in and commit here in the next few weeks, and get going with things. Any questions?
Coach, talk a little bit about your recruiting. A lot of coaches talk about wants and needs. How important is it to get a kid that actually fits into your philosophy, what your program is about?
Very important. I mean, there's no doubt. I mean, there's a lot of guys that, not a lot. I mean, actually, I just counted today how many guys have turned offers down from us, okay? It's less than we got. you know, and so we signed 34. We had less people tell us no, but people tell you no. And a lot of those guys that told us no, as we started talking as coaches, just the way that they kind of went about things, and maybe they weren't our type of guy. You know, the guys that said yes to us, or the guys we're on the phone with, and we got these commitments with, they're Yellow Jacket guys, and you can tell that by just the things they did on the campus visits, the way that the relationships these coaches built with those guys. You know, you just got a feel for it. You know, this is the guy that we want to be, that wants to be a part of our program, and it is special. So having a guy that fits into what we're about is very important. And we tell them that on their visit. We tell them that on everything that we do. This is how things are, and if you don't follow things as far as academics, as far as off the field, you're not going to be a part of it. You know, and we'd rather you go somewhere else. You know, go somewhere we play, because then you're going to bring them down and not us. So, you know, fitting into our profile is a very important need.
Coach Young, what's your biggest running back that you recruited?
It would probably be the Paris kid. He's 5'10", 195. I can't find him here. Is that right, Coach? You remember that? Yeah, Fidel, 5'10", 195. Yeah. Monster compared to someone like But you know what? And, to us, I mean, we always want, you know, when you want bigger linemen, you want a bigger running back. You know, Coach Tatro wants a bigger corner. At the end of the day, we want guys that can play. You know, we don't get caught up a lot of times. You know, sometimes we do probably get caught up in it and look and say, oh, that kid maybe he's not big enough. But when we started watching some of these guys on film, the end result was they could play, and it didn't matter how big they were.
So do you think recruiting outside of the normal area here, or South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana, I mean this area where you're expanding out to Florida, your California Eagles, do you think that's important to help get your team up a little bit?
I think it is a little bit, because when you talk about just the service area, you're talking numbers and you're talking the amount of programs there are. I mean, we probably could name every school in Wyoming. You know, I mean, there's just, and if there is a couple of good kids in Wyoming, we're not the only cool schools after them. And so when you have a smaller service area, you know, to try to get a lot of talent isn't always easy. Now, Colorado's all right, because you got the metro area, Denver, and the Front Range. There's a lot more schools, and so, you know, our goal is to get all the talented kids in this area, and then whatever we can do to outreach to the other areas. And what I love about it is you know, we brought in 7 kids at semester, and those kids came from different areas, and they just fit in great. You know, our team just kind of engulfs everybody, and they bring them into the Jacket football way. And you know, wherever we can find a kid, whether it's in New York, whether it's in Florida, whether it's in California, Texas, whether it's in Spearfish High, I don't care. We want the best kids that want to be Jacket football players, that buy into what we're doing and everything. But I think there is some importance. We got to try to find the most athletically talented kids, and if it's wherever, we're going to go after it. Yes.
Coach, you've indicated you have a very athletic class of recruits. I also know that you're very focused on academics and the success, the graduation rates of your team. Can you speak to how you feel your new class measures up in terms of your expectations?
I think they measure up very well, you know, and there are a couple of kids that you know, we need to keep our eye on. And we very express to those kids that there's support here, you know, whether it be a kid that has a learning disability, and what things are here in the student support service and student success with Susan Up to make sure that they're doing the things. Because is that why your GPA, is that why your test scores were low, and what can we do to help them? And then you look at the other guys, you know, we got some outstanding students, some students that are doing very well in the classroom, and that's what we talked about. We did stress that a lot, and you know, I feel like kids, the GPAs are bringing in our GPAs, and it's just like I told our team last year. You know, whatever our GPA was last semester, that wasn't good enough. It's kind of like a season, 4 and 7. It's not good enough. Okay, if we raised our GPA, well, that's great, but it's not good enough. And so we want those kids to strive to be the best kid they can be. Now, if they come in here and you know, we have some kids that might be a C student. Okay, what we want for them to do is to be the best C, or let's move yourself up to a B student. Okay. What I don't want is, and I've seen it, I don't want that A student, that kid that was a 3.6, I don't want him to come in that first semester and get a 1.8. You know, and it happens. And so we want to make sure, and we talk about it, things with Chad Krukenberg, the things that are in place for these recruits, and we tell them just like we tell our guys, the plan's in place for you to be a successful football player. The plan's also in place for you to be a successful student. And I don't care what your GPA is, I don't care where you are at academically, we can get you there if you follow that plan. And I'm very excited about the character and the way these kids are performing in the classroom. Any other questions? All right. Well, that concludes it. Thank you for showing up. I know we're going to have a little celebration, and coaches will talk a little bit more about these guys down at the Griffish Creek Wine Bar. You're more than welcome to come down there. But if anybody else has any individual questions, I'll take them. Thanks for coming. Have a great day, and go Jackets. Thank you.